Hello everybody, I'm Alexy Khrabrov, the organizer of SF Spark, and here we are on location at Heroku. Our co-organizer Simon Chan of Prediction.io, acquired by Salesforce, gracefully hosted us here, and this is our first time, and it's at the beautiful office. And here we are with Peng. She's the software engineer at Airbnb, and she's going to be doing a really interesting talk about machine learning, and we're very happy to have her. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a little bit about the system we're going to talk today and how you got interested in it and how it happened, how it was created at Airbnb.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about Aerosolve. Aerosolve is open source machine learning library that was started in the pricing team at Airbnb. So actually, the architect of Aerosolve is Hector. So that project was started to primarily support the pricing modeling problem. So when I joined Airbnb, the prototype of Aerosolve is already there. So I basically picked up everything and start to do modeling work using Aerosolve.
So it's interesting to see more and more companies using machine learning. Obviously, Airbnb is at huge scale. So how does the fact that Airbnb is so big kind of motivate the need for something like Aerosolve?
Yes, I think the problem is there are a few reasons for us to build Aerosolve by ourselves. First, we have really a huge amount of data. So for a company at the scale of Airbnb, we have a lot of data. So that's why we need something to allow us to do distributed training on a huge amount of data. Like in this case, we choose to implement this using Spark. So that's Aerosolve. That's why we need Aerosolve and machine learning. Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, obviously Spark is really popular now for distributed systems for machine learning. I know you guys used Mesos for a long time. I've attended technical talks, right? And there is Kronos at Airbnb, and I know some folks, who wrote Kronos, moved on to Mesosphere. But so I'm really curious, how did you guys choose Spark? Like, why not something else?
Why not something else? So I feel this is like an easy option, right? So we don't have any better alternative to build the large machine learning model, right?
Okay.
Do you have any other option? Do you have anything in mind?
It's hard to find really in something comparable to Spark, right? So it's really good to do Spark. So basically, Spark came about as a good choice for the distributed part of that.
Right.
So Spark, how do you use Spark? Do you use it with Python, with Scala? How do you write your code?
We use Spark with Scala.
Okay.
So basically, the Aerosolve training code was all implemented in Scala. Yeah.
Nice. So how did you find Scala for data science and data mining?
How do I find Scala? So when I started at Airbnb, the Aerosolve is in Scala. That's when I started to learn Scala.
Yes.
So actually, before joining Airbnb, I didn't actually use Scala.
Okay.
Because I was primarily in the computer vision field, so where people don't usually use Scala for modeling.
Interesting. So once you started using it, how do you compare it with previous languages you used?
Previously, I was doing deep learning at Sony, where I used Python and I used Cyano stuff. So Python is really easy to use, right? So, but Scala, I feel Scala is more functional, right? So initially, I don't feel so comfortable writing Scala, but once you get used to it, I feel it's a beautiful language.
How do you find kind of the whole cycle, because it's compiled? Right, it has REPL. Do you find that it's fast enough for you? Do you find yourself a lot of time into the REPL, or you mostly compile it and run the whole program? Like, how's your day kind of with Scala?
How's my day with Scala? So usually I will describe how do I write code for Aerosolve. So mostly I will write my code, spend most of the time writing code, and then I compile. So basically I compile the whole jar, and then I upload that jar to some Spark cluster, and then try to train the model and tune the experiments. So I don't feel I'm spending a lot of time just on compiling things. I was mostly working on the actual coding and the experimentation.
Nice. So compiler speed is not really
Yeah, it's not
a
something.
factor.
Yeah.
How about interactive REPL? A lot of people basically like Scala because Python gives you a prompt, right? And Ruby, and people are kind of expecting that, and Scala also can give you that. Did you find yourself using interactive mode in Scala?
No, actually not.
Okay. That's can be something interesting to experiment with. I think Spark has a local mode, and you can probably do
yes.
a lot of things.
Yes. So the way we do is we write unit tests, right? So we can test locally. But oftentimes for machine learning, you need to actually test on the real data. So that's why so most of my time spending on actually uploading the model to the real cluster and experimenting there on the real data. Yeah.
Nice. And so you were doing computer vision before using deep learning. So basically, how do you find kind of the optimization problems with Airbnb? What's in common with the field of vision or machine learning in general?
Yeah. So I think. In terms of what's in common, so these are all machine learning problems. So mostly we're all dealing with different types of classification problem, regression problem. But I think it's very interesting to start to work on the pricing problem for me, because previously I was primarily working on computer vision, where I'm mostly working on the dense feature. So the feature itself is usually not interpretable, a raw image pixel itself does not make sense. But here at Airbnb, I worked mostly on the interpretable and sparse feature. So I think the types of feature are quite different for the pricing compared to the computer vision problem.
Interesting. And how do you see kind of your work being used? Do you see real results of these models?
Yeah, of course. So I worked on building one version of the main pricing model. So our pricing model is trying to predict booking probability, and then from there we provide price tip to our host. So currently the model I trained is actually in production. So the pricing tip that we provided to our host are actually generated by this model. So from our A/B testing, so the result is actually quite it's quite good. So we significantly boosted the night's revenue for our host.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I was booking, a stay in Venice for my family for the next year. I probably was using, some of the prices set by your model.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
No, this is great. So thank you very much. We're really happy, to have you here, and we're looking forward to your talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.